One of the things that we really spend a lot of time is trying to get your work habits together. There's a great deal of knowledge in here. We don't give you tests, and we don't give you loads and loads of handouts and check your knowledge all the time. But we are looking at your work habits all the time. We look at the way you work, and a lot of times we notice what you don't know. We see how you handle various elements of the classroom. One of the things that kids seem to know the least about is gluing wood together, or gluing anything together. I don't know, for some reason kids think that super glue can solve every problem in the world. You can put glasses together with it, and it's absolutely untrue. This is one of the weakest type of glues, especially when there's no surfaces involved. When you bring surfaces together with super glue, it's rather strong. However, super glue is very sensitive to shock, so if you glue something together and then hit it, it comes apart. Another glue we use in the classroom is this vegetable-based furniture glue by Elmer's. The label is, we've written over the label, so it's pretty hard to see it. This is an old container of it that's been around for a long time. Make sure when you use this glue that the tip is open. In other words, just try it on a piece of paper. And speaking about paper, I want to talk to you about the table. We cover the tables every 2 days or every day with cardboard, so a student can sit down here and do a drawing, and the cardboard is relatively clean. Please don't doodle on the cardboard or write your name or draw on the cardboard. Sometimes when I'm lecturing the class, I notice there's a student in the back and he's got his pen out and he's drawing all over the cardboard. We want to keep these surfaces clean and open so that you can sit down with a sketch pad and design on these tables. That's basically why these work tables are here, for work and for design. So please do not do gluing with super glue or furniture glue on top of these tables. One of the things that you need to know is the appropriate glue for a gluing job. If you want to put two pieces of wood together like this, like edge to edge, first of all, the edges have to be straight. And I'm going to show you a machine that will straighten the edge of the wood. If you're doing an angle cut on wood, you won't use this machine, but if you're gluing long pieces of wood together in order to make a long or bigger surfaces, that's principally why you glue wood together edge to edge, is to make a big plank, a big board. So I'll show you the machine that you will use for that. This machine is called a shaper. This is a very lightweight one, and in most high schools they have a bigger machine made by Powermatic or one of the big companies. But this is a lightweight shaper made by a Japanese company called Ryobi. Ryobi is known for its very high speed and very powerful portable tools. Basically, the wood on this shaper moves across here like this, and the shaper, one side of the shaper is slightly lower than the other side. This side's generally lower, and the shaper, as it moves across the blade is underneath here. It's spinning around, and it is quite dangerous. It could remove your fingertips. So please keep your hands away from this blade, because this blade is razor sharp and it's spinning in this direction like that, and that's what shaves the wood off. Okay, so this could be called a power planer. That's another possible name for it. So basically you're going to be holding the wood like this, coming across like this, and the wood will, the edge of the wood gets planed. We generally never put the wood in here like this to plane it that way, or use a pusher stick or anything. This planer probably could do it, but basically we only use this planer for the edges of wood. Okay, when I turn the machine on, it's too loud for me to talk or give you any instruction, but I'll just show you this. There's two plugs here. One is for a vacuum cleaner, which is underneath, which you must turn on, and the other one's for the shaper. And as soon as I put these plugs in, the switch has been injured. We're going to build a new switch for this machine. The shaper will go on. So first I'm going to plug in the vacuum cleaner, and now I'm going to plug in the shaper. As you can tell by the sound, this machine cuts with high speed. It doesn't have an extreme amount of torque, but it has a very, very high speed, something like 75,000 RPM in 1 minute. The wood's been shaved now so that it will go together. It fits cleanly together. And now we're going to go through the gluing process. Whenever you do any gluing in the classroom, like I said, please protect the tables. Do not glue on these cardboards. Some kid said to me, one of the students said, "Mr. Heiberg, that's why the cardboard's there, so you can glue on it." Well, that's not true, because these cardboards are relatively expensive to cover a table. And in fact, Jung collects and uses them again for his classes after school. So that's because they're valuable, and we don't glue on these. If we have to change them too frequently. So if you go down the hall between the two classrooms on the right, on the bottom, just as you get to the end of the hall before you enter the jewelry room, you'll see a big pile of newspaper. That's where we keep it. So go back there and bring 2 or 3 sheets of newspaper back here. Take the newspaper and cover this table. Fully cover the table. You can open these up wide, so if any glue leaks through, it doesn't get to the table. Okay? Put a double layer of newspaper down before you do any gluing. Another thing you'll need when you do some gluing in the classroom with furniture glue is you need a small stick. So you might just take a scrap of wood and go over to the bandsaw and cut yourself a thin applicator stick for applying the glue. This would be important that you have something like this. Jung uses his hands all the time. He doesn't seem to mind. As the glue dries, it does crack right off your hands. It comes off your hands pretty easy, this glue. But it really holds on wood. Now, I want to make sure that you understand super glue is not a way to glue pieces of wood together. It would be absolutely stupid to cover this in super glue and stand there holding this joint together. And besides, when it's all finished, it won't be strong. On the other hand, furniture glue, when you glue 2 pieces of wood together, as these two are, I don't know if you can see the seam here, but if you take a hammer and try to break these 2 pieces of wood together, the glue joint, in fact, from this furniture glue, this white furniture glue, is stronger than wood itself. I tell kids that, and we used to give them a demonstration, take the strongest kid in the class and say, try to break that, and he can't. Actually, if he breaks it, the glue joint won't break, the wood will break, because the glue is so strong. So this furniture glue is about the best you can buy for wood. It gets right into the pores of the wood and makes an absolutely strong joint. Okay, so the first thing you do when you do it is you take the furniture glue and you're going to meter some out on here. If the tip's not clean, take a knife and clean off the tip so that it's going to come out. Okay, maybe you can get a close-up shot here. Then you'll take the glue and apply it to the stick like that. Apply, and this is a way you don't waste it. Okay. One of the things that kids think, oh, I can just put the glue right on. Well, you can't. You always put on too much. So this way you save glue and you apply it the right way. You're going to put a film of glue on this, so you take the glue and you just go like that. And this is a nice, neat way to put it on. You don't get it on your hands, and you get the right amount, a nice thick film of glue on the wood. So I've got glue on there now. And now you take the 2 pieces of wood, you're working on newspaper, don't forget, and you bring this together. This sounds so simple, and you'd think everybody would know this, but one of the things I found out is they don't. We use a clamp like this in the classroom. It's called a squeeze clamp. When you squeeze it, it closes like that. And if you want to release it, you pull the inside trigger and you can open it. You can set it to the wood very easily with the inside trigger. So you take this, come in on the wood, and then squeeze close. When you do, some glue, a little tiny bit of it will come up to the surface. So you're going to put 2 clamps on this piece of wood, and this will take, you'll ask me, how long does it take to dry? Well, within 20 minutes it gets pretty good. It's pretty strong. But however, this glue is made for overnight use, so you really need to leave it to cure 100% overnight. But in 1 hour, even 20 minutes, it has made a joint that's going to stay together. Now, don't take this and put it in your storage box, because we need these clamps. So what you need to do is come back the following period right after class, and then you can take these clamps off. The glue's already set up a little bit, and then overnight it finishes setting and it's very, very strong. So you can only leave these on for a period. If it's the end of the day, you can leave them on overnight, provided you come in the morning the next day and take them off. When you want to take the clamps off, you come in and push the inner trigger. Once you push that, it releases the clamps. And then you can put the clamps back over where we store them in the classroom. We have an area where all these squeeze clamps, different sizes. These are awfully expensive, these clamps. And I'm asking you, please don't store them in your storage box, your project storage box, because we are often needing them and we can't find them, and we wind up ultimately looking in the box. Super glue in the classroom, I want to tell you about it. First of all, it's dangerous. If you're trying to squeeze it out and it's not coming out, and you keep squeezing, the bottle will explode, or the tip will explode, and the super glue will come out with furious force, squirt across the room. And we had one boy, he had glasses on, thank God. He had a white stripe across his glasses. He would have been blind had he not had goggles on. So when you use super glue in the classroom, I'm telling you, you must always use safety goggles. It's very, very important. Super glue is okay for little pieces of wood and for building models. It's not a way in woodworking to put wood together. What they do in furniture places is when they have a crack in wood, they'll put a little super glue in the crack and then clamp the wood, and that's okay. But to put two major pieces of wood together, it's silly to use super glue, okay? Super glue works on lots of different non-porous and porous materials. It's great, but it's also very dangerous. You must wear goggles in the classroom, okay? We will watch your habits, your work habits, to see what you know about gluing now after you watch this video.